LC Davis, Ryan Roberts getting set for what was going to be a championship fight. It will not be a championship fight as Ryan Roberts came in 3 pounds overweight. But LC Davis and Ryan Roberts fighting at bantamweight, the two champions. The featherweight champ Roberts, the bantamweight champion LC Davis.
And this is exactly what I thought Ryan Roberts should do.
Position here against LC Davis and throws the right knee, and LC trying to do his best to work out of that position, but Ryan Roberts, as you said, very strong individual and obviously heavy heart. He steps into the cage, says that out of all the people that were in the crowds during his fights, he didn't hear many, but he heard his sister. And
not to get hurt from here, and then see if he can do better in the later round, because he's not really actively trying to come up here.
Both guys, there was no doubt that they were still going to fight. LC's going to get a little bit of Ryan's purse regardless of the outcome. And we are into the final couple seconds of round number 1 of our.
And Judge Sean Rommel scores the bout 48-47 for your winner. By split decision, Ryan, are you ready, Roberts?
Wow. I was at that fight. That was a crazy fight, dude. That was insane. I don't know, 5 rounds, 5 minutes a round of just pounding on each other.
Yeah, it was
It was a great fight.
It was good. I was happy to pull out that victory. LC Davis is just an outstanding person, pillar in the MMA community. He's fought for a world title before, beat some of the best on the planet. So it was an honor to compete against him, and then come out with a win was real neat.
Absolutely, it was cool stuff. How did you get into MMA?
I got into MMA pretty much out of boredom. I was a project.
You need a hobby or something to do.
I was a project manager living in Colorado, and I was actually up in the mountains, and I hired a bunch of guys from Nebraska to come work for us as plumbers and pipe fitters. And a couple kids were, a guy I wrestled in the state finals in high school, and he was into it. Well, he had gotten hurt on the job, and I filled in for him. And I thought, wow, this is kind of neat. So they flew me to Nebraska, and I fought in Omaha, and was able to get a win in about a minute and a half, and I wasn't aware of it, but I guess the guy was pretty good, and I was able to knock him out pretty quick. So sometimes
not knowing stuff helps. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So you wrestled in high school?
I did. I wrestled at Valley High. I was a 2-time state champion there and 3rd twice, and went to college at UNK. Then went there for a year. Then I went to UNO. I suffered a pretty bad arm injury. I snapped my arm pretty bad, and kind of a career-ending injury, and got into MMA when I was 26 years old.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So.
Kind of late start?
Yeah. In hindsight, it would have been nice to start maybe a little bit earlier.
Really?
Yeah. But now I'm 35 and still going strong. So.
Absolutely. Okay. What do you think about when you are preparing for a fight? What's going through your head to get ready for that?
I respect the sport so much. I think that helps a lot. The training and all the different disciplines, as you can kind of see there, most of that action was on the ground, but a majority of that fight was actually standing up. And so we work 4 major disciplines: boxing, Muay Thai, which is kickboxing with elbows and knees, wrestling, and then jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu is all your submission grappling. And for wrestlers, it can kind of be a kryptonite, because a lot of wrestlers get caught in neck cranks and chokes that you feel you have really good positioning in wrestling, and then on next thing you know, you're waking up wondering what happened. So it's practicing all those different disciplines in the respective disciplines, and then putting them all together. Okay. It's that's when I'm getting ready for a fight, those are the things I'm really focusing on. And then getting ready for these fights, as you can see, I was real skinny there. I don't look anything like that. That was only like 4 weeks ago. So it's
So you're getting ready for your next fight?
Well, I have another one March 15th. So the diet starts tomorrow.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and that's another aspect that's difficult, is being disciplined in your diet. It's tough.
Tell me a little bit about training. How do you, for one fight, what do you got to do now till March?
About 2 to 3 practices a day.
And you work as well.
I do. I have a full-time job, so and a family, so I'm having to that balance is difficult. But if you can stay disciplined, it's not too bad. I typically my day starts at about 5 a.m. and I'm at the gym. Get home and help Lori, my wife, with Stella, our 9-month-old daughter, and get her ready for the day, and then go to work. And fortunate with my job, I'm able to train 2 to 3 days a week at lunchtime, and then the days that I don't train at lunch, then I go in at night and kind of keep the happy balance there.
Okay. Have you ever been knocked out?
I've been fortunate. I have not been knocked out.
No kidding.
Yeah,
wow. 'Cause, one hit, I'd be gone.
Well, I've had 32 professional bouts.
Really?
And I've been TKO'd, which is a technical knockout, and thank goodness the ref came in and pulled the guy off of me because he was getting the better of me pretty good. So, and his name was Dwayne Ludwig, and for anybody who's an MMA fan, he's a pretty big name. So, at least if I'm going to get beat up,
might as well lose by
Dwayne Ludwig.
That's right.
So.
You've also fought some other battles in your life that aren't as physical as this. You want to share a little bit about kind of your journey to this point?
Yeah. I've, like a lot of people in life, I always worked real hard, but I played real hard too for a long time. And, it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I actually was brought here by a friend that kind of started helping me find my faith. But before that, I was just always struggling with life. I'd be doing really, really well, and then it just kind of all fall out from underneath me. And it's because I didn't have a faith. I didn't have faith in something higher than myself. And, I struggled with alcoholism. I struggled, just a lot of different vices in my life. And as I was struggling through one of my vices and being sent to a place by the state of Nebraska, recommended a certain place for me, and after leaving that, I had a friend recommend Stonebridge,
okay.
And it's amazing. That was about 5 years ago, and my life in the last 5 years has just done a complete 180.
Wow.
And there's only one common denominator in all of that, and it's this church.
Oh, cool.
So.
Well, your sister passed away this past year, and most of us know about the story a little bit, and we keep hearing in the news and things, and I've admired how you've been able to kind of handle a tremendous amount of grief and scrutiny from the media and all that kind of stuff. How are you doing?
Most days I'm doing pretty good. Omaha has just the whole community in itself has been so supportive, and it really helps in such a tragic and scary situation that we've been living in. And and that helps, but honestly, if it wasn't for the faith I currently have, I have no idea where I'll be. If this was 6 years ago before I was able to, turn the page to the next chapter of my life, I have no idea. I can only say that, having faith and realizing I don't have to control everything, that, just kind of let things happen. And, if you keep the faith, keep praying, things have actually turned out really well for me and my family, considering all. So.
Yeah, I had the privilege of doing her service and saw a bunch of folks here that night, that afternoon, and there were some big guys here, and I thought, ooh, I wouldn't want to get that group mad. And, I thought, man, there's a lot of anger. It could have been a lot of stuff, but I admire, because I think they took the lead from you on that deal and how to handle a pretty messy and volatile situation. And again, I think you've handled it amazing, and I think about you a lot, and I know our church prays for you a lot, and your family, and for Michael Ryan, and his family, and it's just really close still to our hearts. Still will be. I know you. There's court dates and junk coming up still for that too, but we just want you to know you're not alone in the deal, and we're glad to be able to go on the journey with you. Well, we've got a lot of young people here tonight. What would you want to tell them about kind of facing high school and some of the pressures that maybe you went through and the kind of things here now, and maybe kind of what you do differently?
To be honest, just the fact that if you are here listening to this, you're already on the right path. You're doing the right things. You're making the right choices. It's very difficult, especially in today's society, with all the temptations that everybody has. For all you kids that are here, keep doing that. Just keep trying to do the next right thing. You're going to stumble, you're going to fall, but as long as you pick yourself back up and have confidence in yourself, you have faith in yourself that, you are capable of doing things that most of you probably never thought you would be able to do. There's probably a lot of you guys that have goals and ambitions that, just stick with those. Continue to follow those out. It's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy, but if you just stick with it and keep faith, keep God number one, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Cool. Anybody got questions for Ryan?
Not all at once.
Yeah. If they wanted to get into this sport, would you recommend it?
Honestly, yes.
Okay.
It's the thing about mixed martial arts. It's been given a really bad, kind of name by a lot of people as human cockfighting and a lot of, negative things like that. But it's actually the complete opposite. It's, just the people you meet in the sport are so. A lot of them, depending if you're going to an actual gym, it's neat. Everybody, a lot of doctors and lawyers and engineers.
Pastors.
Well, not necessarily, but there's a lot of, it's a very cool sport because you have to be disciplined. It's not like soccer where it's just a couple seasons. Mixed martial arts is kind of an all year round deal, and being able to train with these guys, and it's. As you can see, it's very difficult. The training in itself is very challenging, and just it's therapy. You go into this thing, whatever was bothering you during the day, whatever happened to you at school or work, you leave a practice and you don't even know what you're upset about because you're trying to catch your lungs and check and make sure all your arms are still on you, and you leave and you feel fortunate that hey, at least I'm still here. So
very good. So you have another fight coming up.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Fighting a former world champion. He was a WEC world champ. His name's Chase Beebe, and he's as tough as it gets outside of the UFC. So be March 15th at the Ralston Arena for Victory Fighting Championship. It'll be at 145 pounds, which I'm happy for. My last fight, I fought at 135 pounds, and first time I ever really tried to make that weight. And it was, as I think you might have heard, I didn't actually make the weight. I missed it by about 2.5 pounds. And I thought I had made the weight, and I showed up on one scale it said I was on, and then I showed up to the official weigh-ins, and I was 2.5 pounds over, and I'm like, I'm not going to go cut that. So I had to pay a pretty hefty little price and out of my purse. But this one's going to be at 145 pounds, so I'm a little more excited about that. I won't have to diet quite so hard.
Cool. Well, would you thank Ryan for being here tonight? I'm sure he'd be glad to talk with you more about this. Again, he's part of our Stonebridge family. He's been super responsible for bringing a bunch of fighters to the church as well. I feel very protective most of the time by these guys and gals that are part of this culture. And it's an amazing place. And I've had the privilege of being ringside for a couple of his fights. And it really is an amazing time. And would you just continue to pray for Ryan and for his family and and he's got a little baby, and new marriage and all that kind of stuff, but we're thankful that you were here tonight, and thanks for being a part of our halftime.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very
Glad
much.
you're here. Now, what we'd like to do now is we're going to have a little worship time, because this is our typical Sunday night service, and we want to sing a little bit, and there's going to be communion for those of you who would like to have communion tonight. And if those of you who brought offering, again, sometime this might be your service for the day. And if so, we want to honor that and give you a shot at that. And our worship team is going to come and play, and we'll sing together. And so would you mind just standing, and we're going to pray, and then we'll do a little worship. Thanks, God, for tonight. Thank you so much for the chance to hear Ryan's story. I'm grateful that he is a man of God, man of faith, and is working towards your likeness. The battles he's facing are not flesh and blood. That's not it. And the battles we're facing are not either. And so some of us are struggling tonight in many areas we feel like we're losing in. And perhaps tonight would be a moment which we just say, what if I was just open up to the strength that I could find from Jesus Christ. So it's our hope and our prayer that maybe this would be a night in which just some things got opened up, and we saw a little bit better and clearer the path we're on. And maybe we needed to, there might be some of us that need to take a different course and follow you. For tonight, we're grateful. And now as we worship you, we're thankful. In Jesus' name, amen.